Okay, so before we start, there's a couple of little things that I want to do. Actually, I'll show you what it looks like on paper. So here it is. You've got this first line which repeats 3 times, and then this second line which is just once. So don't be daunted by all these numbers. Once it's broke down, it's pretty straightforward. What I want to do is this very first bit, and I'm going to ignore this 3 here. I just want to get this little movement right. So this sounds like. So I'm going to show you what's happening here. So you're going to pluck with your 2 fingers there, pluck the 2nd and 3rd string, and then you're going to hammer on the 2nd string there. So you've got to really give it a bit of force. And when you've done that, I want you to pluck the 2nd and 3rd string as zeros again. So you've got zeros, hammer on, and then pluck them as zeros again. If it's sounding like this, it's because you're not giving that enough force. It's not just about holding it down sort of with strength, you've got to hit it with a lot of attack. So that's the first bit. That's the hardest bit, I reckon, of this song, the very first little bit, so practice that. So you're using your first finger here. So the test to this is to be able to hold your 3rd finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, pluck it with your thumb, and be able to do that little technique whilst that stays down. Da, 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 da. So you got to keep that static. So watch this. Da, da. So when you add this on and it's got to hold down, that adds quite a bit of complication to the little movement of this. So that's something you got to practice. I'd recommend having your 3rd finger as close to that fret as you can there, because that's where you apply the least pressure to get the note, a nice sounding note. If you're over this side, see, it's a bit buzzy and you need to press down hard to get that note good. But here, you can just sort of forget about your 3rd finger and just go. Now the next bit, actually I'll show you what that looks like first on the tab for people who like to view it. So you can see here, 3rd finger on this 3rd fret 5th string, and you got this 0 hammering on the 1st fret, and then you're playing the 2 zeros again. So I'm going to show you the next chord. So once you've done that, this 3rd finger is going to move up there. That's your first move there. And your little finger needs to go on the 2nd string. And you're going to pluck the top string, the 2nd and the 3rd string. So you need to get used to, in this hand, if you're not used to it, pinching strings using your fingers and your thumb. Because rather than thinking I've got to strum this, I'm not going to be able to pick out these individual notes that I need. So get used to doing this. You could just practice on any chord and just put 3 fingers on 1, 2, 3 and your thumb on the 4th string and just practice picking them all together. Look. How can I get it? See that? So we got this so far. So let's look at the left hand. You've got this. Hammer on the 1 and then take it off. And then the 3rd finger moves up. Little finger goes on the 2nd string. So in this hand, you're plucking the 5th string with your thumb. And you got your fingers on 2 and 3 string. So. And then you pluck the 2nd and 3rd string as zeros, and then this hand gets into place, and then your thumb's on the top string, and then these are on the 2 and 3 again. And then you pluck the second and third on their own. So just get that right. One more time. There I did a pull off with the first finger. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next section. So actually that's what that looks like when you're playing that G, where your finger moves up there and your little finger goes on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and then you pluck them individually. Okay, let's go to the next bit. So you can see here you've got a chord. So you've got a finger on the 7th fret, that's on the 5th string. You got a finger on the 8th fret on the 2nd string, and then you got this 0 on the 3rd string. So I'm going to show you. So it's a 7 and an 8, 7 and 8. So I'm going to put finger on the 7 there and finger on the 8. If you notice, that's on the 5th string, that's on the 2nd string. So you got them 2 notes, and you've got the 0 on the 3rd. And what I'm going to do is pinch all 3 of them. So it gives you a nice little harmony there. And the next note, if you can see on the tab, it hits the root there again, so that little 7 just on its own. So it goes. Okay, so that's 7 and 8, and the next shape is 5 and 7. So don't get these the opposite way around. The 5 is on the 5th string, the 7's on the 2nd string. So that shape looks like this. So you put your first finger on the 5th fret, see we're still on the 5th string, and then this finger goes on the 7, so you got that shape. Don't it's easy to get it upside down like that. If it looks like that, it's wrong. It should be like that. And then you pick the same strings, so the 5th string and the 2 and the 3, and then you pluck the 2nd and 3rd. So I would just practice them. So oh yeah, root. So it's harder to do when it's slowed down. Okay, so you got that shape to that shape, and the reason why I'm using my first finger there and it's a bit of a stretch is because the last bit you are going, and if I was using all these fingers it'd be a bit trickier. Okay, so actually I'm going to put that into perspective now all together. So the first bit, time. And then the very last one, I'm going to show you what is happening on the chart. So it starts off the same. You've got this here as normal, but this time when you go to 7/8, on the 2nd string it just hits a little 10 and then back to a little 8 just on its own. So the first one you hit as a chord, pick it as a chord, and then them little notes. So your fingers should be in this position anyway, and then you go with your little finger 10, 8. So that's a bit of a stretch, but it's good to get used to stretching out, because a lot of songs do it. So then get on the 5 and 7. So I'm using my first and my 3rd finger, and then your little finger's going to hit this 8 and 7. Same sort of little pattern. What? you got. So you got 4th time this is, so you do 3 of what we've done already. Okay, hope you enjoy that. Really great riff to do. It's probably one of the most famous acoustic riffs that I know everyone loves to play. So I'll see you next time. Bye bye.